It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in cinema, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey, Jim. And Murray.
Yo.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Thanks to all who've been supporting us.
That was Nixon.
If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. And support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see it. That is a terrible movie, that is. And we will watch it if it did play in cinemas. Now, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5, $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Oh, baby.
Movies.
Yeah, we saw a few movies this week.
Just a couple.
You know, if we weren't so busy doing other things, getting prepared for Calgary International Film Festival, we would have probably seen 7 movies this week.
Yeah, a lot came out this week.
Right? There's probably about 7 movies that we could have seen in cinema.
There was 7.
But we cut it down to just only 4.
Yeah.
And we're starting with the best one first. Go ahead, Bryce. What did we see first?
Yeah. We saw The Woman King. It's about the Ajoji? Is that what they're called?
Dahomey.
No.
It's Dahomey.
No.
Oh, yeah, they're right. The women were.
The all-female warrior.
Yeah, were the Ajobis, yeah. You're right. But
Yeah.
the people were the Dahomey.
Yeah.
Right. You got it right.
I was getting to that.
You were right.
I know
For
I
once.
was right. No, not for once. For now and for
alls?
always.
For alls?
So yeah, it's about the Ajoji, an all-female warrior unit that's like part of the army that the Dahomes are. The African kingdom of Dahomey during the 17th and 19th to the 19th century. So apparently in there, what was it, 1881 or something? I think this
1800s, yeah.
I can't
There was
remember
still
when it was.
slavery on at the
Yeah,
time.
there was indeed. I want to like this movie a lot. Here are the things that I liked about it, and it's a short list.
All right.
I did like the performance of Viola Davis.
Yeah, of course you did.
I did like the performance of Lashana Lynch.
Yes.
I loved the performance of Sheila Atim.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But the movie was not good. It had a bunch of dancing, a lot of posing, which I'm sure they did all the time, that they would just pose. The music was terrible and took me right out of so many scenes. It was ridiculous. You would actually have a scene that really doesn't deserve any big dramatic music at all, yet there would be some. And there was nowhere to go from that point to a bigger dramatic scene because they'd already peaked out with the music. And it was just, it did that not once, not like through the whole thing. The music was terrible. It was also convoluted. It was predictable. There was so much posing and a lot of, I'm sure there was a lot of like this line dancing, but not to this degree. That got tiresome too. The whole thing got tiresome. The action was silly.
No.
Yeah. And I hated it. And I wanted to like it because I think it's a story worth telling, but not in this way. Not in this way at all. This was a rage.
So I want to correct you a little bit because so that our listeners know.
Yes.
There is also some African music in this, which was not terrible. Right? You're just saying that the music that they put to build suspense and to build the story.
There was very little African music in this.
No, but when it was great.
That was fine.
Okay. I just wanted the listeners to know that there was African music in this that was great.
But the score written by, I can't even remember who wrote the score. I should have written
the Woman King score person.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad score.
Just not utilized
It was utilized very poorly.
Gotcha. Well,
it took me out of it. It's just, and yeah, it wasn't, it should have been just better. I don't think it was well written.
Well, let me tell you what I thought of it. The women of Dahomey are fierce. More fierce than any Amazonians before, including Wonder Woman. Yeah, I said it. They're much more fierce than Wonder Woman. And Viola Davis, or my future wife, as I like to say, was the epitome of ladies who kick ass and punch dicks, along with the powerful and duly ass-kicking and dick-punching Sheila Atim. Like, those two women alone, I just wanted to watch do anything together in this movie. This is a period piece biopic of the fiercest women in Africa. The film is things we have seen before, but I would say not from this perspective, showing women of higher respect than their male counterparts. Is there some artistic license taken in this? I'm absolutely certain of that. Is the story predictable? Yes. Do we know what's going to happen? Absolutely. But getting invested in these women overcame my feelings in some of the story's predictability and typical storylines. I loved seeing these women like an army of fire ants destroying everything in their paths. I loved seeing the African culture, music, and dance on full display. I did not love the love interest and some of the ease how things seemed to transpire within the film. But I enjoyed the character development. But at times, it seemed like things were almost too altruistic or overtly natural and no real tension or muted tension. But then seeing my future wife, aka Viola Davis, in her most powerful role of her career, I overcame some of these things that apparently Bryce could not get over. This was a great film to have a young black woman and even non-black women scream, "Hell yes, motherfuckers, hear me roar." I loved her and some of these great female black actors scream and dance and stab and cut and chop and fight and kill their oppressors and give hope to the future generations of equality for both women and the black community. But overall, the film had, as Bryce has already mentioned, a few misgivings. I liked it. I loved my future wife, but the film was just meh.
All right.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say my maybe seventh favorite genre is ladies who kick ass and punch dicks. And this delivered on all front. These fucking women were like fierce. Like, I can't think of another word that describes them. They fucking destroyed people.
I wish they were in a better written movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was some writing issues. I'll give you that. But the story that was being told, I still think, because it holds so much truth to the history of these great women, is just such an inspiration. Like, I know what you're saying, and there was points in it that if I got into your headspace at times, but I was so connected to these characters. Like, I thought that Viola Davis's character in this and the journey that she takes through this, I thought was very well done. Very well done.
I thought that it was like super predictable that the discovery we make,
without spoiling it, there's a moment. Yeah, I mean,
it's so obvious from the very beginning that
yes,
it was not shocking at all. In fact, I'm literally going in my head, please don't say that.
That is what it is. Yeah.
And I'm like, please don't. It's just too obvious. It's too cliche. Just
do it. It was.
And they did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
Actually,
could you just stop? Just cliche on top of cliche on top of just lazy screenwriting. It did not.
See,
and I am baffled that this movie is getting so well received. And yes, it's got good performances. And yes, the subject matter is great. It's great subject matter.
Yeah.
It's just not well done. And I don't understand why you can't call it out for that. Why everybody's saying how wonderful, because it's not a great movie. I'm sorry. It's just not.
There's some great things in it. I agree. We're gonna obviously differ on our thoughts of the movie overall. And it's funny because I've seen you say this many times before, that certain performances have changed your rating, but this obviously got into a point. The music was... I did have a problem with the music.
The music took it out of me. The writing took me out of it.
Do you know what actually
the performances, like these actors had really little to work with when it comes to the dialogue, but they delivered it all so well.
Oh yeah,
and they are just, you are in awe of them watching this movie, and
yes.
I'll give it that. But I can't get over the fact that they deserve to be in way better movie than this was. These actors and these performances deserve to be in a better written, better made, better scored, better movie, period.
Yeah, a bigger thing for me was the love interest thing.
There's
that part was actually more annoying for me.
And I get that.
But that's a big thing that both of us have problems with in general. Why are you putting a love interest? What's the purpose for it?
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
indeed.
So that's 1 for 1 we're sitting now, because I predicted with Bryce today we may misstep on every film today.
We shall see.
We shall see. All right. Well, what else did we see?
We saw Pearl.
We saw The Pearl. Oh, sorry.
Just Pearl.
Just Pearl.
Not to be confused with the Pearl from 2020.
That's right.
This is about a 15-year-old student.
That's right.
Who goes to live with with an ex-lover of her mother.
Exactly.
That's a totally different movie.
Completely different.
I kind of want to see it now, though. I didn't know it existed until a few seconds ago when I looked up.
I've actually seen it. It's pretty good.
Is it?
So, who knew the murderous German sex party, gator feeding, goose forking, scarecrow fucking retelling of The Wizard of Oz could have the best music score ever produced for a period piece in the history of film? But here we are. This is it. The first 20 minutes of this film, I could not have been more in love with this movie. But once it settled into itself, it got more draggy. And I didn't feel the character moved so cohesively as it could have, and it lost its tongue-in-cheek, over-the-top humor and quirkiness and became more dry and draggy. Wait a minute, did I say draggy already? Oh yeah, that's right, because that's exactly how I felt. It ended on a completely perfect note and a smile that could warm the cockles of your heart. So it started as a mondo, it settled itself nicely into a meh, and it ended with a mondo. So it was basically a meh sandwich. And we have some unpacking to do.
A meh sandwich.
Yeah. It was a very juicy, delicious meh sandwich. I did like a lot about this movie. I mean, for me, it wasn't as good as X.
Oh, way better.
X to me, no. Well, you just gave everything away.
Which, in case you didn't know, Pearl is the old lady from
That's
the
right.
movie X. This is her story in a prequel.
That how she became
Yeah.
the crazy old lady from
Yes.
X.
That's my contribution.
As you mentioned,
Thanks, Mur.
the music in this was tremendous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you said that once it settled into itself, it got draggy.
Yes.
I would say once it settled into itself, it got more awesome. It was just so well paced. The performances were great. The alligator was
great.
fantastic.
That was great.
He was.
We needed more
Yeah,
alligator.
we needed
That's
more
what was missing.
In fact, all the animals in this were
even
very
the
good.
even the goose. The
The
goose.
goose. Poor goose. Oh, Pearl. But I don't understand how you could not. I mean, I understand the first 20 minutes was funny, and for some reason you wanted it to be funny through the whole thing.
Well, I'm not saying I wanted it to be funny for the whole film.
Okay.
But you can't come out with a masterpiece of filmography.
You know what?
In
You come
20
out with
minutes.
you come out with the rapid fire laughs and the stuff that's like, it's like, okay, this is, and you're into the movie. And then
But
you
then
know
it's
what?
like the
And
rug
then
is pulled out from under
you
you.
use the right thing. Then it settles into itself, which were exactly your words, and it does.
It did settle
settles
into
itself.
But
and then it's just a nice, even, slow burn to the satisfying ending, and it was a very, very good movie. So good that I would say it was Mondo.
you would say it, but then you realized it was actually just.
And then when I think about it more, I know it was Mondo.
Yeah. No, I didn't find her character, like, to me, the development, I liked the development of her character.
The development of her character was perfect.
It wasn't a bit. I'm going to say no, I disagree with you, because the reason I say I disagree with you.
What more did you need? What didn't you know about her? I don't understand.
It wasn't that I wasn't know about her, but it was like, it's like her psychosis, for lack of a better word, made bigger jumps in the film at different times. It was like they show this one scene with the goose, we'll say.
There were no jumps.
Yeah, there was jumps. She went from
crazy to crazy.
No,
I don't understand.
I didn't feel when she was falling for the what's his name, the projectionist and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have that crazy. It's like, and it wasn't like there was like when you see movies with serial killers, you see documentaries about serial killers. There was like a point where it's like, okay, this was her snapping point. It was like she was already supposed to be fucking crazy, but I didn't feel the crazy. And then all of a sudden it was
How
like,
did you not feel the crazy?
You went from, it's like, for me, it was like she was like a 2 or 3 crazy at the beginning, and then she got to a 11 out of 10 in crazy, and the jump points were too much.
See, and I thought she started at an 8 and ended at a 10.
What? Because of the goose scene? That's not.
No.
People
Just because
they live on a farm, they kill geese all the time.
Mostly because of the opening credit, the giant smile on her face as she's feeding the goose to the crocodile. They actually freeze frame it, and she's smiling ear to ear.
Yeah,
She's
but-
not all there.
Yeah, but okay, so
She
see,
starts at an 8.
I didn't. No, that was still a 3 to me, because this is her pet crocodile. Like she.
Did you not look
Did you know the relationship she had with the goose? The goose might have been a pain in the ass to her. In fact, that's what I thought. The goose was like, "I'm gonna fuck with you, bitch," as he walks into the barn. And she's like, "No, you're gonna be gator bait today." Like, it was that part didn't prove to me that she was an 8. That was a 3.
No, the look.
No.
The look on her face from the first frame in this film, you knew she wasn't quite there.
Nah, I didn't feel that at all. I thought, like, when you see X, she's balls out crazy, and I didn't feel it. Hey, I'm glad. I'm glad you felt it.
Remember, this
I'm just
took
saying
place
I
in
didn't
the
feel it.
1800s too, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was 1918.
Right. Sorry.
How old is this?
You're
a
mixing
woman
this up
king.
with.
How old is the character? That's like 200 years old.
No,
Sorry, that was a woman king.
See,
That
and
took
what
place
did
in
you
the
give that?
1800s.
You gave it a range.
That was terrible.
Okay. So let me make this very clear. I like this movie a lot. I just
did
had
too.
some problems, and just like you seem to have problems you can't get over. I couldn't get over the fact that she was a 3 to an 11 too fast.
And she was,
Maybe
she
it should
started
have been
in an
another
8.
hour longer, and I could have seen
No.
more stages of her development.
All I know is that I loved it.
The acting was incredible.
It was.
Absolutely incredible. This music is going to be like, I'm going to buy this soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack
because
is just,
Murray, if you
it's
can
perfect.
imagine, like it really, as you're watching it, you're going, I am really in 1918 right now. Like I'm listening to silent movie music, and you're thinking of yourself. There's scenes near the beginning that it's like, this is literally the Wizard of Oz. And
Yeah.
she is Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. It was so good.
Ty West has something.
Yeah.
There's no
well, his
question.
music, he gets
Yeah.
it.
He really does.
I just wanted him to get it more with this one, but
Wow.
you know what? But you know, there's going to be another one after this because she can't go from this movie to X. There's got to be the husband scene.
I hope there is.
Yeah, there will be. So that's number 2 that we don't match up on this week. All right, Mur, what else did we see?
My turn now.
Yep.
I
Well, it's always your turn if you would have seen the other movies.
have to work for a living.
You work hard for it, honey.
I do. Yeah, I did manage to see one before the weekend started. It was.
Wait, were you saying that you're working for the weekend?
I work every weekend. You know that.
No, for the weekend.
For the weekend. Yeah, I saw this one before I had to go to work.
Murray's working for the weekend.
I'll wait.
We're done. Go ahead. We should have that as a button.
See how they run. And the West End of 1950s London plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a member of the crew is murdered.
What?
Huh.
Spoiler alert, the play is The Mousetrap.
Bum, bum, bum.
That cheesed me off at the beginning because
Bait and
I
switch?
thought it was See How They Run.
So they bait and
which
switched
is
it.
a British farce that I actually acted in and knew to play
Nice.
quite well.
I love things when
It
they
had
make you
nothing
angry.
to do with this. This was actually The Mousetrap, which was on Broadway or in London in the 50s, starring, who the hell was it? The big actor.
Humphrey Bogart?
Not Olivier. No, it was one of those. Attenborough, I think it
There you go.
was.
Well, yeah, because Dickie was in
It
this
was-
kind of too.
Yeah, Richard Attenborough was
Yeah.
supposedly on. Anyway, that was the only famous person supposedly in this cast. Yeah, as the narrator says right off the top, when you're planning a murder whodunit murder mystery, usually the least likable character gets killed right off the start. And that happened.
Yeah, because you don't like Adrian Brody.
Unfortunately, he didn't stay dead. Via flashbacks, he was all over this damn movie.
Wasn't he?
Thank goodness.
I haven't seen a corpse that active since Weekend at Bernie's.
Nicely played.
As you guys know, I'm a bit of a theater nerd. I grew up, in high school and stuff. I did a lot of, theatrical type stuff. I like being on stage and stuff, and I was looking forward to this. And I actually have seen The Mousetrap, and I enjoyed it. This was another ensemble cast, which basically ruined the movie.
What?
I'm really not liking Bradley Cooper anymore. I don't know why I ever liked him, but everything I see him in.
Is he in this?
Sorry,
Bradley Cooper wasn't in his.
Sorry.
You mean Adrian Brody?
Sorry, no, I mistake him for
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell,
There you
who
go.
I actually loved most of the time. But this one, he just like mumbled his way through the whole movie.
Oh, he was great.
No.
Yeah, he was.
I will say, Saoirse Ronan,
Sure say it.
absolutely delightful. I laughed pretty much every time she opened her mouth. She was awesome. The rest of the cast, not so much. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it was a meh.
You guess?
I don't know.
Or you're solidly, firmly believing that this movie was a meh?
I can't firmly give it a rage, and I sure as hell wasn't giving it a mondo, so that makes it a meh.
There you go.
All right, see how they run. Adrian Brody was amazing. Sam Rockwell was amazing. Saoirse Ronan was amazing. I giggled through the whole bloody film.
Yeah.
I thought
It was annoying.
it was so funny.
And
It was
wasn't.
it was a freaking delight from start to finish. I absolutely adored it. There is nothing I would change in this. It was lovely.
So lovely equals.
Oh, it's a Mondo.
Ugh.
It was so good.
All right.
What were you guys were watching? I don't understand. Because I know you're not going to give it a Mondo, and you already didn't give it a Mondo.
No,
So I am very, very confused by what's going
I'm
on at this
surprised you
table
liked it.
today.
Okay, well, let me say, just like the great Adrian Brody says in the beginning of this film, it's a whodunit.
Yeah.
So nothing new. Perhaps instead of calling it a whodunit, though, it should have been called a who cares. Because
I care.
ultimately, through the whole movie, I didn't. A couple of good parts, though.
It's funny.
I laughed twice and chortled thrice. And Saoirse Ronan was epic.
She was great.
In fact, her epicness comes at a price that we will need to discuss either later today or at a later date. No, it's going to be today by the time we finish this review. The dialogue was 1950s corny, and the story was zero suspense, made 0 sense for most of the movie. I cared for only one character the entire movie, plus the fact that the character development was non-existent, like 0 character development, made this basically a boring film. If not for Saoirse Ronan, this would have been a steaming pile of rage. But for her and her alone, plus a moaning Myrtle sighting, this gets a very low. Can you go lower, please?
Low.
Thank you. Meh.
At any rate, Clerks 3. Let's start with the good. I love Rosario Dawson. She's awesome.
She's awesome.
How does she just look that good? I mean,
She looks like she did 20 years ago.
I know. She's just super. Why isn't she in more? Because she is a delight. Every time she's on the screen, even when she's giving just terrible dialogue and it is in a terrible movie,
Yeah.
she's just delightful.
Wait, she should probably... Is she on our mesmerized list, Murray?
I don't know.
I think
Find
she
her
should
mesmerizing?
be.
No.
Oh.
What? Oh, for crying out loud, Murray.
Today I'm using my I don't have a walking around phone excuse. Do your own research.
What?
Huh? What? Are we not...
I don't know if she's in the mesmerizing list.
Oh, that. Okay.
Like, I'm not
Well,
gonna-
did you find her
I'm not gonna-
mesmerizing?
I'm
You
not
don't. You really don't
For the
find
most
Rosario
part.
Dawson mesmerizing?
She's all right.
Is that a yes?
I don't hate her.
Okay, so that's just a no.
Okay.
I'll put
So-
it this way. I saw Clerks
Yes.
and Clerks 2
Yeah.
over the weekend.
Yes.
Nice.
Clerks 2 was terrible.
Mm.
Well, was she good in it?
It was okay.
Was she
in
mesmerizing in it?
it.
Wasn't she the best part of it though?
One of the few bright spots.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we're saying.
That's she's mesmerizing.
Sure, let's put her on. We'll take her out next week.
Maybe.
Apparently, it's really easy to take them off now, and trust me, you'll find out next time I get a hold of the list. At any rate, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Rosario Dawson.
is
Isn't she
so great.
awesome? Why isn't she in more stuff?
I don't know. She should be in everything.
She really should. I really like Rosario Dawson. And we got a Ben Affleck cameo, which was fantastic. He was hilarious.
Yeah, I kind of threw up a bit.
Justin Long,
too.
huh?
The
Justin Long?
mesmerizing Justin Long.
2 minutes.
So, anyways, Clerks 3. I understand that Kevin Smith really loves these characters, and I think he really wanted to put a bow on this. This was not the way. This was one of those. I mean, you're gonna get diminishing returns on anything that goes 3 movies. Except there's some exceptions, but. Clerks was great. I also watched it again, I think yesterday morning. And I still love that movie.
It's good. It's a good movie.
It is really, really, really good. And then Clerks 2,
Jump the shark a little bit.
yeah, it's not great, but it had some moments. It had
Had a donkey
within
fucking
it.
scene.
It had that. It had
Rosario
it had
Dawson.
Wanda Sykes,
Yeah.
who was awesome.
Yes.
It had Rosario Dawson.
The mesmerizing
but
Wanda Sykes.
it had some scenes mixed in with the bad that at the end of the day, it was meh. It was okay.
Yeah.
Because it had something. And then Clerks 3, it was bad. It was almost unwatchable. Like, I don't know what Kevin Smith, you've had 20 some odd years to come up with this. This is how you're going to send them off? You bookend it with heart attacks, and it's just so stupid. And the music was so bad. You know what I loved about Clerks and Clerks 2?
Was the music.
The music was great. We got some Jackson 5. We got some Soul Asylum. We got a whole lot of King Diamond in Clerks 2, which was right up my alley.
Yep.
Grandma, are you for real? It's so good.
Is that an actual song?
Oh, yeah.
God.
Grandma was dead with an open neck, blood still running from her open mouth. I knew they would blame it. They would blame it all on me. How could I ever explain? And I hear them again singing Twilight Symphony. Anyways.
Yeah, it was so bad that was fake.
It was so good.
There's no way there's a real song with that.
That is a real
There's
song.
a real song. That's what Bryce listens to every day.
I loved it.
That explains a lot.
And then we got to the music here, and we've got a whole lot of music about New Jersey. It's like Kevin Smith went through, and every song that mentions New Jersey, he puts in it, and they were all bad. And then he comes on in the closing credits about the, I was gonna have this little voiceover at the end, but that New Jersey song by so and so was so wonderful. I wanted to close on that. What is going on? It was terrible. It's all bad music, man. Choppy story, lazy writing. It's just lazy. Like, you're right. I think he's been just getting stoned too much. He must have been stoned the entire time he was writing this, because it was lazy. I was so disappointed. I am a Kevin Smith fan. I loved Clerks. I loved Mallrats. Chasing Amy, I loved these movies. Tusk was fantastic.
Tusk is awesome.
And then what is this? You're not doing anything to send this off the way that it should be. If you're going to have a third movie here, send it off right and have some laughs in it. How is this a Clerks movie with, I don't know, 4 or 5 times I laughed?
Yep.
How is this possible?
And you even laughed, I think, 4 more times than me.
Because it wasn't a funny movie.
It wasn't. It was a bad
depressing.
movie.
It was sad and depressing.
It was sad. It was depressing. It was not a fitting closing to this trilogy. Although really, I mean, you could, it's sort of a New Jersey. It's almost like a, Marvel type thing with all the New Jersey offshoots, and with Mallrats and Clerks, and even Jersey Girl had everybody, connected to it. But this was really bad. I am sad to say that I was looking forward to it, just because I thought that Kevin Smith had so much time to come up with this, that it would be good, and it wasn't. It was a rage. And it didn't even have it. It says that it had some King Diamond in it, and on the credits at the end. I never heard them in there. When was them in there?
I don't know.
They might. If it was in there for a few seconds. I don't know how I missed it.
Maybe it's one of the old clips that they showed.
Yeah. The music was so good in the first 2.
Yeah, you're probably right, Murray. It's probably one of the old clips.
Maybe flashbacks to the first 2 movies.
Yeah, could be.
So not since
Twilight Symphony.
Not since American Honey have I seen a movie that I have wanted to run screaming from a movie theater.
I loved American Honey.
I know you did. I mean, I could talk about how awful the dialogue was, but the acting was worse. And I could talk about the music, but that was so terrible, as Bryce has already mentioned. I do not think my ears will ever recover from hearing the terrible, terrible music that was in this movie. But then again, I could also talk about how stupid this movie is and how none of it is connected in any logical or sensible way. The only thing I actually liked was the current mesmerizing Justin Long and the 1 minute of Danny Trejo.
Oh, Danny Trejo was good too.
He was good.
He's always good.
Yeah, this
Just
is...
put his face on the screen and I'm happy.
I know. It's totally... Yeah, this is the epitome of why sequels should just stop. Like, people just stop making sequels. I think Kevin Smith, as you've already mentioned, smokes way too much weed, because apparently you have to either be stoned, stupid, or an idiot to enjoy this shithole of a rage of a film. I hated... From the first 5 minutes in, I turned to Bryce and said, this movie is going to be awful. I already hate it. And it got worse from then in. It was like the first 5 minutes in, I'm like... how it actually felt... like not one person was in the same scene with the other person. The connectivity between dialogue was like somebody came in and shot their one scene, and then another person came in and shot the scene, because it didn't connect. It wasn't symmetry. It was so choppy and so badly acted. I have never in my life seen a movie that Kevin Smith has directed where the acting has been so awful. And everybody was awful. It wasn't even... Well, there was the one guy who's the Satanist. He was okay. But every single person, including Jay and Silent Bob, were fucking awful in this. Awful! Yeah, this is going to make my top 3 worst movies of this year, by far.
Wow.
Mur, what'd you think?
Oh, Kevin Smith. Well, one thing I did do, besides working all weekend, was to catch up on his
trilogy of terror.
Yeah, his catalog of work. I finished watching Comic Book Man, all 6 seasons or whatever it was.
Nice.
And I was pleasantly surprised to see a few cameos at the start, like the hockey game they put on the roof. Ming Chen was there. I loved Ming. He was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Walt was there, of course, because he's Kevin Smith's best friend, who runs the stash for him. Yeah, this was a Kevin Smith movie that basically he made with and for his friends and family. Like, lest we forget the original Clerks, he directed, first-time director, and everybody in the movie had never acted in anything ever before. These were his friends. These were not actors. These were all like amateur, untrained actors in the original Clerks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 25 years later, he brought back the same people. He didn't even recast. He just, like, they're 30 years older and they're just doing the same roles. And this was like a movie within a movie. Like, they're reshooting Clerks 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
This premise of he wants to make a movie, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, as you said, Rosario Dawson, awesome. Spoiler alert, they kill her off in the first 5 minutes.
She was already dead.
She's already dead.
Yeah.
She was the best part of Clerks 2, and she's not even in this movie other than as a flashback as a dead person. Like, that was just tragic. That depressed the hell out of me. Oh, at the end of the second one, yeah, he was married to her, and she was pregnant. They were going to have a kid, happily ever after. I'm like, no, it all got ripped out away from him. Then his best friend had a heart attack. I'm like, okay. And yeah, the whole movie was depressing like that. Like, and the funny thing is, my least favorite character from Clerks 2 was my favorite from this one. Elias was freaking awesome.
Yeah, he was.
Every time he showed
like
up, he had a different costume. Like, once he dressed up as, like, he was pretty much Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror.
Yeah, he was that.
Then when he brought the cat for the cat scene, he was dressed like he was in the musical Cats. That was awesome.
He was wearing
every time he showed up, I laughed.
Well, there you go.
I thought I would hate him because the first scene, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's still around. He's like 20 years older and he's old and out of shape and he's still a virgin and he, praised Jeebus and all that kind of thing. But he surprised me actually. But yeah, the rest of it was just, it was awful. Like, it was just depressing. Like, the reason why you liked Clerks and even Clerks 2 was because of the absurd comedy that, like,
because of the donkey scene. Let's face
serious movie. Well,
and Wanda Sykes.
And Wanda
Sykes. I hated the donkey thing, but that's just me. But no,
you don't like donkeys now?
That version of it.
Oh, okay.
But no, this one started off depressing, and it never picked up. There was never a light moment. It was just 2 hours of depressing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just. Like, yeah, congratulations, Kevin Smith. You put your wife and your kid in your movie, and
Well, he does that every
all
time.
your friends from 30 years ago were in this movie, but not a single professional.
This should have been
actor.
a home movie that they only shared amongst themselves.
And yeah, the audition scene. Yeah, my 2 least favorite actors on the planet. Not just the one, but they got 2 this time.
Nice.
The first one you know about.
Oh yeah, it's Ben Affleck.
Yes.
He's the best.
Second one is married to my former crush. Basically ruined her life. That would be Freddie Prinze Jr.,
There you go.
who's also terrible. I did enjoy Melissa.
Didn't he marry Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yes,
Yes.
and ruined her life.
Oh,
She was on top of the world when she did Buffy and everything else.
yeah,
and did 2 movies.
she needed to go away.
And then they were in that.
Thank goodness. Thanks,
Jennifer
Freddie.
Love Hewitt movie, and they got married, and yeah, she hasn't had a career since. Scooby Doo. They did Scooby Doo together.
Thank you, Freddie.
Yeah. Anyway, and they had Melissa, what's her name, who was Supergirl on TV. She was interesting. She did all the dancing and stuff. I don't know who the guy who was singing. I had no idea who that guy was. But yeah, some of those cameos, I recognize characters from comic book men, knowing they were like actual friends of Kevin Smith. I knew they put him in the movie.
Well,
Just
where
to
was
give-
Matt Damon?
No Matt Damon, and there was the guy with a long beard who is like basically Kevin Smith's best friend from his childhood. Brian Johnson was not in this, but he's not an actor.
Yeah,
anyway.
he was in it.
I didn't see him.
Oh yeah, he
there.
was. He
He's
was
in the
in
hockey scene.
another.
He was in
cameo.
the hockey scene.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't see him because he's so out of shape. He couldn't play hockey anyway. But
Yeah, no, they showed him.
So
anyway.
the worst thing about this movie, actually, to be quite honest, is that I was hoping that every movie this week you and I would disagree on, but we completely agree. All
Yeah,
3 of
no,
us.
we all
Murray,
knew
you know
this
what this
well,
means.
And this was also the freshest
Murray,
one.
you know what to
Yes,
do.
I know what it means.
Rage! Rage! Rage!
It's the best day ever.
Yeah, it was a heck of a week.
I love this
All
day.
right. Well, this week I actually tried to watch 2 different films.
What?
Just have something to talk about, and both of them were like so bad I couldn't even get through them.
What?
So then I found this article. Full disclosure, I found this online, but I'm gonna claim it as my own because I want to.
Well, you can't claim it. You've got to say it's copyrighted, probably.
Copyright, whatever. Anyway, I read it online. But yeah, and I fully agree with this article. Basically, it is sure signs that a movie will suck.
Oh, I like this.
Starting off with if it's a reboot of a children's TV show, movie, or toy.
Yep.
Like, remakes are the in thing right now, but these films are usually poorly rated and not worth the time or money.
We got ourselves a bingo.
Sonic the Hedgehog, anyone?
Not much.
And next up, which is just happened this week, a cast is full of big movie stars. A-list actors don't always make the best movies. Example they use is Don't Look Up, which you guys both didn't like. But there are tons of others out there. Theory is that this is done to distract the audience from all the suckiness of the movie. Yours truly has been burned way too many times by being a diehard fan of the main actor, only to be disappointed by the film. I keep falling for it every time.
You're a sucker.
I am. And then we have long opening credits sequence. Now that's at the start of the movie. Like, not who's in it or who directed it. I mean the number of production company logos that come up before the movie starts.
Yeah.
That's a key.
The greater chances it's going to be lame.
700 production
Yeah.
houses.
I mean, it's okay for a few logos at the beginning, but when it goes on for more than like a minute,
I think
that
that
means it's going to suck.
that Russian Jackie Chan Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
Yeah.
I think had like 13 productions.
Probably like 10 minutes. Yeah.
It's like-
The exception would maybe be low budget or independent films because they need money from a lot of different sources. But if it's like a Hollywood movie, yeah, you should need more than 1 or 2 at the start. Even then, there's no guarantee that the independent ones are going to be any good. Then we have too many TV ads. I know some people don't watch TV very often, but if you see an ad for the movie like every 5 minutes, that usually means they're trying to promote the crap out of it because it's a terrible movie. They're usually compensating for the fact that it isn't great. If the studio knows the movie's going to bomb, they cut the total marketing budget and just use most of it and flood ads in the market to get you to see it at the opening weekend.
The more ads, the better chance it's terrible.
Pretty much. Then we have the trailer that gives everything away.
Oh, fuck me, yeah.
A trailer is supposed to give the audience an idea of what a film is about. Sometimes the ad gives away every plot point in the movie. An exciting scene is way better when you've never seen it before. Word of advice, stop watching trailers and reading reviews. It's better to go in blind and be disappointed than to go in hyped and be and you know, hate it. Then we have the movie opens with a cool story. Now, some movies begin with an epic tale that catches audiences up on the story, like they set up what should be a good movie. Most of the time, the backstory given is more interesting than the actual film. Makes one wonder, why didn't they make a movie about that? Case in point, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Opens with a very cool sequence. It quickly becomes one of the worst X-Men films ever. That is until the next two Wolverine films. In this one, Alan Smithy is credited as a director. Now, this is an inside Hollywood joke. When a movie is so bad, the artists don't want to take credit for it. They use the word Alan Smithy. He's credited as directing 131 projects on IMDb. He's not a real person. Just a fake name they gave because they don't want people to know they were in it.
I wish Kevin Smith would have used Alan Smithy on it.
And finally, painfully obvious exposition. Like, the point of exposition is to introduce the characters, the setting, the conflict of the film so the viewers will know what's going on. The biggest sign of a terrible movie is when one character has to explain everything that's going on to another character.
Oh, God,
just
yes.
so you already know, who should already know what's going on.
Yes, I
That's
hate
just
that.
lazy writing.
Yes.
Filmmaker wants to get to the action so bad, they resort to explaining things to the audience like they're children.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are signs to watch out for that it's probably going to be a bad movie.
Yeah, and if they do some of those things in the first 5 minutes, you're like, quick,
just
run out of the building.
Just walk out.
And ask for your money back.
Anyway, that's all I got.
So much joy.
I try.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Sweet, 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 sweet rage. This week we had a lot to rage about, and we'll continue to have a lot of rage. But my rage this week is so obviously Kevin Smith that I really don't want to talk about him because we talked enough about him. I don't want to give him any more credit for this terrible movie. But there was an event that happened at the cinema when we went one time this week. And now I don't remember what it was, but that annoyed me too. When we go to a theater to see films, the experience has dropped a lot. Like, if they're trying to attract people to come back into the cinemas, it's like, you need to have everything perfect. This is my rage this week, other than Kevin Smith, of course. But if they're trying to keep people coming back, when they come back in, you want to still make it a fun experience for them. And when you have things like, the temperatures are wrong, and the sounds are coming from places, or, we're the last people that leave the cinema. We could have walked out with all their candy and crap from their store the other day when we left the cinema. There's not even an employee there to guard it. So my rage this week is, come on, theaters, you got to pull up your boots a bit and make people have a reason to stay in your cinemas. That's my rage this week. You awake?
Yeah, I'm awake.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. My rage is Clerks 3. That's it.
Okay, then.
It's just, and you know what? We could have seen something else instead of Clerks 3.
No, this was Bryce's idea.
I had to see Clerks 3.
I know.
I knew it might be bad, but I had to see it. It's, it's wrapping up a franchise as I say, it's a franchise of diminishing returns, but the first one was so good, and I thought, you know what, maybe Kevin Smith, he's had so much time, he can bookend this, and this can be really end it, but it's just awful.
You know what's the best thing about it, though, is that, to your point about it being diminishing returns.
You know what? Clerks ends with, like, in the credits with a really cool Soul Asylum song.
Yes.
Clerks 2 ends the credits with a really cool Soul Asylum song. Why wouldn't Clerks 3 at least send me off with a really cool Soul Asylum song? So at least I could go, at least I got to hear a really cool Soul Asylum song.
Kevin Smith loves New Jersey.
They sang a song about New Jersey, though, Bryce.
That's my rage. That Clerks 3 didn't end with a Soul Asylum song.
But you know what's even funnier? That makes it even the most funny is it literally is proof. It's like one of those things people talk about all the time is that the first movie's good and then they just get worse as you go along.
Please.
This is a natural digression of film. It's like this trilogy that has now been created is going to be the poster child of not making a sequel. Yeah. It's going to be like, because you know what? Clerks was awesome. And I think most people who've seen it, it's probably got 100% on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and every other meter you can measure. Clerks 2, everybody thought it wasn't that great. It was okay. I still like the characters, but, whatever. And then he makes this dog dropping. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, so just people stop making sequels. Just make new movies.
Well, unfortunately for him, he hasn't had an original idea in a while.
Smoking too much weed, man.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Since he had his heart attack.
When did he do Red State?
Well, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
It really seemed like yesterday.
He did do Yoga Hosers with his daughter.
Nice. He's making.
Yoga Hosers.
He's making Moose Jaws. He's making.
Is he actually making Moose Jaws?
He's making Moose Jaws. Yeah. He may not make any money off this movie though. So.
Well, he doesn't need to anymore, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
So this is where we will normally have a promo. Yes. But, we don't.
We have something
Wait,
else.
hold on here. Let's just listen to this. Crank it up, Murray. I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are.
Well, two of you are anyway.
I have like a sweet, sweet music boner right now because this music is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But we are going to be going into our favorite festival of September.
Festival mode.
Festival mode is starting. We're going to be doing a bunch of interviews. We are going to be seeing a shit ton of film, and we're going to be spending some time with some filmies just like us watching Calgary International Film Fest. And you can find everything on their lineup at ciffcalgary.ca. That's CIFFCALGARY.ca.
Such a dumb website name, but Calgary International Film Festival, Calgary.
Yeah, it's like, what? What is that all about?
Yeah, CIFF Calgary.
Yep, CIFF Calgary. So all of us have been attending CIFF for many years, and Murray's volunteered for more years.
So did you.
Yeah, I volunteered for about 10 years or so.
Only a decade?
Only a decade. It's it's a fantastic festival. I suggest everybody go online and at least check and see what they have playing, because we are going to be talking about these. We're going to who knows how many episodes we'll make in the next week and a half, but we will be talking about our top 5 to date next week, and on maybe Sunday, maybe the following week, we'll be talking about more. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add? Is there anything you're really looking forward to? We're going to
Yeah.
get to see a couple things that...
I was looking forward to the movie that we can't watch anymore. I
Oh, we
can't
still
even
might.
I can't even remember what it's called.
There you go.
Because you're sitting there booking interviews left and right.
That's right.
Instead
Going
of going to
cray-cray.
movies, I got to talk to some directors.
That's right. We love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's a good time.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we always
never
have a
know.
good time.
Yeah.
Directors are fun, especially when they're passionate about their projects.
That's true.
But Murray's going to be working.
Working 2 jobs.
Yikes.
Yeah, be a busy week.
Well, stay tuned. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the Extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rager Dare. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, please, please. Pretty please. Let's give all this wake a rage on.
Rage on.